Content warning. The following video contains material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
You wore that smile like a badge, held the keys, took roll, kept score, said trust me, this is our secret, locked the classroom door. You turned the lesson into leverage, you twisted kindness into chains, signed the homework with a halo, hiding every stain, leave these kids alone. They came here to learn, not bleed. You carved your hunger into a desk, called it love till they believe. Time for justice, time for prison, let the truth cut through this prison of excuses. Leave these kids alone. You sat in front at assemblies, talked to futures, caps and gowns, but your hands were hunting shadows every time the lights went down. You wore that title like armor, respected leader, pillar, guide, but every text, every thread, every touch was a crime you tried to hide. Leave these kids alone. They came here to learn, not bleed. You carved your hunger into a desk, call it love till they believe. Time for justice, time for prison, let the truth cut through this prison of excuses. Leave these kids alone. We see the patterns in the hallway, a whisper shaking in the air. No more silence dressed as safety, every scar is evidenced a flare. Strip the plaques from off the walls, rip your name from every wing, let the victims write the ending, let the courtroom hear this sing. Leave these kids alone. They came here to learn, not bleed. You carved your hunger into a desk, called it love till they believe. Time for justice, time for prison, let the truth cut through this prison of excuses. Leave these kids alone.
Just when you thought you could turn your back and walk away, the dark cloud of human indignity follows you. You have no choice but to turn and look it in the eye. It's the sex offender hit list.
New out of Greenville, a man has been charged after he admitted to molesting a child. This is according to the Greene County Sheriff's Office. Christopher Michael Jerome Warren facing 2 counts of aggravated sexual battery. Investigators say the abuse had happened for at least 5 years. He moved to Greene County from Cobb County last year. Deputies determined some of the abuse took place in Greene County. The bond for that 26-year-old set at $150,000, and his court date is set for late January.
Yes, we're going to start off with that breaking news. Actor Timothy Busfield, famous for The West Wing, 30-something, and a lot of other shows, has now turned himself into authorities amid child sex abuse allegations.
Busfield surrendered to authorities in New Mexico following an arrest warrant issued Friday after 2 children accused him of sexual abuse. KTLA's Gene Kang joins us live in the News Center with details. Gene.
Hi, Sandra and John. Famed actor and director Timothy Busfield, who you've seen in some of your favorite shows and movies, is sitting in a New Mexico jail tonight facing child sex abuse charges. Look at his mugshot. Hollywood veteran 68-year-old Timothy Busfield, known for The West Wing and Field of Dreams, turned himself in to Albuquerque police on child sex abuse charges. His attorney says he did it to clear his name. Busfield released this video to TMZ, claiming his innocence.
I'm going to confront these lies. They're horrible. They're all lies, and I did not do anything to those little boys, and I'm going to fight it.
He's facing 2 counts of criminal sexual contact of a minor and 1 count of child abuse. The allegations involve 2 child actors, ages 7 and 8, working on The Cleaning Lady between 2022 and 2024. Busfield was directing in New Mexico when the alleged incidents happened. According to the criminal complaint, 1 child claimed Busfield touched his private areas multiple times. The boy's parents didn't report it until 2 years later. KTLA legal expert Allison Treasel weighs in.
The real question will be, will the testimony of these minor children be enough? Because there is no physical evidence here. There is no other eyewitnesses.
Busfield's attorney says there may have been a revenge motive. The criminal complaint says an actress on set claims the mother vowed revenge after her sons were cut from the show's final season. Warner Brothers investigated, interviewed a dozen people, and found the evidence didn't support the allegations. Our legal expert says New Mexico is a no-cash bail state, meaning a judge will hold a suspect in jail if they're a danger to the community or a flight risk.
I don't think the court will worry about there being a flight risk. There are alternatives to incarceration, like a stay-away order, electronic monitoring. The interesting question will be what the judge will decide, because New Mexico is not his home state. Will the judge allow Tim Busfield to leave the state to return home?
His wife, Melissa Gilbert, told Us Weekly that her focus is on caring for their large family and supporting her husband. Tonight, the district attorney is deciding whether to file for pretrial detention, which would keep Busfield behind bars until trial. Live in the news center, Jean Kang, KTLA 5 News.
All right, Jean, thank you.
And a Beaufort County man is facing several indecent liberty charges involving a child. Beaufort County deputies arrested William Armstrong yesterday. According to court warrants, Armstrong had indecent liberties with a 14-year-old girl in July of 2025. The 62-year-old man has been charged with 5 counts of indecent liberties with a minor. He was taken to the Beaufort County Jail under a $250,000.
A Boaz man behind bars facing a charge of solicitation of a child. Take a look at your screen now. This 50-year-old James Sitz. Investigators say his arrest follows a months-long undercover operation. Sitz allegedly believed he was communicating online with a 14-year-old girl from Baldwin County. That girl was actually an undercover Baldwin County sheriff investigator. During the online conversations, Sitz engaged in inappropriate chats and sent explicit images. After his arrest, he admitted to the online communications. The investigation is ongoing.
Man has been sentenced to 50 years in prison for molesting a child. This is Garrett Grant, who was arrested back in 2022 after Bryan police responded to a call where the victim reported that Grant had sexually assaulted her. Prosecutors had evidence to prove that he did it, and in addition to the 50 years in prison, Judge John Brick also gave the victim a lifetime protective order.
A former Nevada man was sentenced for possession of child pornography yesterday. The Department of Justice says former Fernley resident Curtis Lee Solomon repeatedly accessed child pornography websites and viewed child sexual abuse material that includes preteens and even babies. Solomon was sentenced to time served and 10 years supervised release. He served approximately 3 days in custody in 2022 after he was arrested.
And into local news now, a Chatsworth man is in jail ahead of his trial after authorities say they found thousands of child sexual abuse videos. Livingston County deputies arrested 23-year-old Jacob Monfordini, Thursday night in Chatsworth during an internet crimes investigation. Investigators say they found more than 3,500 videos and hundreds of images involving children under the age of 14. The Livingston County Sheriff's Office says the investigation is ongoing. Monfordini is charged with indecent solicitation of a child and traveling to meet a child, both Class 3 felonies. If convicted, he could face up to 5 years in prison.
Albemarle County, Virginia. A babysitter arrested in relation to child sex crimes may have additional victims in the Blacksburg area, according to the police. On December 4th, officials with the Albemarle County Police Department began a sexual assault investigation after the department received a report that a child had allegedly been assaulted while in the care of a babysitter. The next day, police said they arrested and charged 24-year-old Maxwell H. Mandel in connection with the investigation. Police say Mandel offered babysitting services as well as music lessons in and around the Crozet area, and also previously lived in the Blacksburg area. Mandel has been charged with felony aggravated sexual battery, felony indecent liberties with a child, and he's being held without bond at the Albemarle Charlottesville Regional Jail, where he belongs.
Only on 2 tonight, a man is behind bars after police say he kidnapped and sexually assaulted a Spring ISD student. Thanks for joining us for the news at 5. I'm Joel Eisenberg.
And I'm Lisa Hernandez. Keith is on assignment. Tonight, police say the suspect may have other victims based on what this investigation has revealed so far. KPRC 2's Bryce Newberry live at the Harris County Jail with the story you'll see only on 2. Bryce?
Lisa and Joel, this 15-year-old student smoked a THC vape and took an edible at school, according to court records. Then she walked away from that campus, and that's when this suspect, a complete stranger, approached her and offered to help, even to take her to a police station. Tonight, though, he's been arrested by police. He is here in the Harris County Jail, accused of raping that Dekaney High School student.
All right, Mr. Green.
Tonight, 43-year-old Johnny Ray Green is behind bars with bond denied, accused of kidnapping and sexually assaulting a 10th grade student at Spring ISD's Dekaney High School.
It took a turn for the worse for her.
School police chief Matt Rodriguez says the 15-year-old may not be the only victim. She told investigators she got high with friends in the school bathroom September 3rd. The victim said she left school just down Imperial Valley Drive here, and she came through this fast food and gas station parking lot. Then there's a bank just across the way. That's where investigators say they found video of her being picked up and dropped off by that suspect hours apart. Green, a convicted felon, drove this red Dodge truck. He offered to take her to a police station, according to records, but once in the truck, he allegedly searched her body for wires to make sure she wasn't a cop. Too intoxicated to fight back, records state he drove her to his house, where she told police he did very bad things that hurt so bad, and she thought she was dying.
People who approach young people, they're not always looking for the best things.
After being sexually assaulted for about an hour, according to records, Green drove the teen back near that fast food restaurant and gave her $10 to get something to eat.
We know this didn't happen on campus. It wasn't really connected to the school, but what would your message be just to parents who see this and might have some concern?
Exactly. While it did not occur on our campus, wasn't related to our school, it still involved one of our students, and we take that very seriously.
Using that red truck as a clue, investigators found surveillance video and used license plate readers to track back to Green, eventually getting a hit on his DNA through a national database. Charged with aggravated kidnapping and sexual assault of a child, the Harris County Violent Persons Warrant Task Force took him into custody Monday.
In my mind, this is a predator, and I'm glad he's off the streets.
So tonight, Spring ISD police are hoping to hear from any other possible victims connected to Green. We do know that he's been arrested in the past for continuous sexual abuse of a child. A jury even got seated for his trial to begin, but then Harris County prosecutors dismissed that case, I'm told, because of a missing witness. Tonight, again, his bond has been denied, and we know that Harris County prosecutors plan to ask the judge to hold him in jail pending trial without bond under the new voter-approved Proposition 3. We're live downtown. I'm Bryce Newberry, KPRC 2 News.
Tonight, we're learning about the arrests of the Winsboro ISD superintendent, the former superintendent, and his wife. All three were charged with failure to report child abuse in 2 separate instances. One of them involves 2 coaches from the district. Nicholas Gabriel was arrested over the summer for having an improper relationship with a student. Jared Lancaster, a coach as well, also arrested for not reporting it and trying to cover it up. Our cameras were at the Wood County Jail when the current superintendent, Aaron Nation, bonded out of jail. As of this morning, all 3 related to this have bonded out. This morning, we also got hold of arrest documents in this case, which we brought you first online and on the noon show. CBS 19's Ayanna Aird has been sifting through new arrest documents all day long. Ayanna, what else have you learned?
Yeah, Dan, where arrest documents describe what investigators say is a pattern of failures by former Winsboro ISD Superintendent David Wilcox and current Superintendent Aaron Nation to report suspected child abuse as required by state law. The first case dates back to last summer. Documents say David did not report allegations that assistant football coach and economics teacher Nicholas Gabriel had a sexual relationship with a student. Gabriel was later arrested in June. In that same case, high school coach Jared Lancaster was also arrested, accused of attempting to cover up the alleged misconduct. David told investigators he may have first learned of the allegations through his wife, Ashley, and said Aaron may have also informed him. Texas Rangers say they were aware of the allegations about a month before David left for summer vacation, but documents say he dismissed the claims and failed to report them within the required time frame. Investigators also say David refused to provide subpoenaed call logs and text messages from district-issued phones. A second case involves a female substitute teacher accused of having a sexual relationship with a student. Documents say Aaron informed David of the allegations on May 29th while David was on vacation, but the incident was not reported until June 2nd, beyond the 48-hour reporting deadline. The affidavit says the substitute teacher sent explicit messages and photos to a student. David later interviewed her himself and told investigators he did not believe the allegations. Documents also allege David and Aaron interfered with the investigation by placing then Winnsboro ISD Police Chief Heath Guy on administrative leave. Guy was later terminated by the school board in December. Aaron is also accused of deleting data from his district-issued phone, leading to a charge of tampering with evidence. In the last few hours, the district appointed high school principal Cody Halloway as acting leader. A special called board meeting is scheduled for Saturday evening to discuss administrative actions and the appointment of an interim superintendent. We'll be there to cover it and see what comes out of it.
At noon, I'm Jacob Brandenburg. We start by tracking crime. Ector County ISD police arrested a man for trying to meet up with a minor for sex and for having child porn on his phone. Police say that Travis Cosby sent sexual messages to an online profile that he believed was a 15-year-old girl. The account was actually run by ECISD police. They say that Cosby drove from Kerrville to meet up with the teen for sex. Investigators say they searched Cosby's phone and also found several images of child pornography. He is charged with 2 counts of solicitation of a minor and possession of child porn. Jail records also show that Cosby's being held on a $150,000 bond for a charge of indecency with a child from back in 2017. At last check, he is still in the Ector County Jail.
We begin with a family's worst nightmare, really. Investigators say it started as a routine bathroom break at a Texans game, but it was anything but. Now there are criminal charges and a lawsuit.
A 21-year-old stadium employee is now accused of sexually assaulting a child. The boy's parents telling KPRC2 News reporter Rowan Balogan they're speaking out to prevent this from happening to anyone else.
Court documents show this incident happened in the weeks leading up to Christmas. Around this time, the 8-year-old's parents tell me that he asked if Santa would get him an eraser to remove the memory of what happened to him at NRG Stadium.
I feel I failed. I know there was nothing else I could do. I did everything that you think is right, but you're supposed to protect your children, and that day I failed.
We're not showing the faces of these 2 Houston area parents because we don't want to identify their 8-year-old son. What was supposed to be a fun family day watching the Texans play a home game quickly changed when the couple's 8-year-old shared what happened to him inside the NRG Stadium bathroom.
He said he was washing his hands and that an employee approached him and told him to go into a stall. And my son said I trusted him because he was a worker.
Court records identify the worker as 21-year-old Yashay Nixon, who was later arrested.
This defendant has previously been charged with indecency with a child by exposure and an indecent assault.
Records show Nixon has prior indecency with the child charge against him. This is why the family's suing against Food and Facilities Service Company Airmark and ASM Global.
How did the company not catch it? I mean, you can look all this up public record.
Through all of this, the family says they're trying to find the man who flagged the mom about their discomforts in the men's bathroom. The Good Samaritan might have witnessed what happened.
We would love to thank him. We would love for him to step forward again because it's because of him, 100% because of him, that the individual was identified and that we were able to get the police there so soon, and that, it's all because of him.
Airmark tells us in a statement that Nixon no longer works at the company or here at NRG, adding that they are fully cooperating with HPD's ongoing investigation. I'm Roman Balogan, KPRC 2 News.
A ready man already facing over 120 charges related to the sexual assault of children saw a dozen more charges added at the beginning of this year. Peter Mock, a former CAL FIRE captain, was originally arrested in 2022 on more than 70 counts. He saw several more cases brought forward against him for other alleged victims from 2023 to 2025, with these newest charges bringing the total count to 134 charges laid against him across 4 separate cases. The most recent are focused on alleged assaults Mock committed on 2 minors under the age of 14 from 2006 to 2011. This is the 4th time prosecutors have brought forward new charges against Mock after his initial arrest, which in part is why none of the 4 cases against him have gone to trial yet. Mock is in the Shasta County Jail on a more than $2 million bail. His next day in court is scheduled for January 21st, where he's set to be arraigned for his newest case.
We are learning more about the former Seneca County corrections officer who's facing very serious charges. 13 WHAM's Natalie Calzatoni met with the Seneca County Sheriff today and has new details in the case. Natalie.
Yeah, Karen, state police arrested Robert T. Williams last month and charged him with criminal possession of sexual performance of a child and criminal possession of a firearm. The sheriff calling the allegations shocking and disturbing.
In no way is this a reflection of the sheriff's office values or mission, and I'm deeply disappointed with the allegations.
The Seneca County Sheriff says a state police investigation led to the arrest of former Corrections Sergeant Robert T. Williams.
The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children made a referral to the state police, and they conducted the investigation.
According to the felony complaint, Williams uploaded a video with intent to view an obscene performance, which included sexual conduct involving a child. The file was allegedly among 24 files depicting child sexual abuse material.
I do know during the course of the investigation, a search warrant was executed, and they seized evidence, and a forensic download of his cell phone was conducted by state police personnel.
Williams is also accused of illegally possessing a handgun. The sheriff tells me these allegations happened off duty.
My lieutenant spoke with the state police, and that was one of my big questions. The possession of the indecent material on his cell phone, obviously his cell phone was present here while he was working, I would assume, but they advised me that the behavior didn't occur at the sheriff's office.
The sheriff notes since he took office in 2024, improvements have been made to the office's hiring process.
We've implemented job-specific psychological examinations, truth verification through polygraph testing, and we've implemented panel interviews.
The sheriff adds Williams, who had been employed since 2017, resigned following his arrest.
I do want to point out that these are allegations, and he hasn't been convicted of anything yet, but certainly they're disturbing, they're serious, and we certainly take it serious here.
The sheriff says Williams was released following his arraignment and will return to court at a future date. Karen.
A jury recommends 165 years in prison for a former JCPS teacher who sexually abused children. Christopher Morris was arrested in June 2022 and charged with 38 counts of child sex abuse. At the time, he was employed with JCPS and was a coach for a traveling amateur athletic union basketball team. Police said the crimes happened between August of 2012 and May 2022, involving a victim under 16 and another victim under 18. A jury found him guilty on Friday and recommended the maximum sentence for each charge.
Now we'll head over to Johns Island, South Carolina, where the Johns Island man was arrested Thursday for several charges related to sexual crimes involving children, according to the Charleston County Sheriff's Office. This is 70-year-old Marvin Philip Humpert. He was charged with 1 count of sexual exploitation of a minor in the 2nd degree, as well as 4 counts of sexual exploitation of a minor in the 3rd degree. The release from the Sheriff's Office states that Humpert was arrested after the South Carolina ICAC received a cyber tip, and a search warrant was conducted at his residence there at 3600 block of Maybank Highway. Affidavits state that Humpert had several files of child sexual abuse material on both his phone and his laptop when the deputies and investigators conducted their search. Well, he was booked at the Sheriff Al Cannon Detention Center. And of course, when further details become available, you can be sure to find them here first on the Sex Offender Hit List. See ya, Chomo.
Former North Shore School District teacher will be sentenced this week for attempting to rape a child. John Butts pleaded guilty last month. Redmond police arrested him in December of 2024 during an undercover sting operation where they posed as a minor. Butts taught at Leota Middle School and coached the girls' basketball team. The King County prosecutor is pushing for a 13-month prison sentence and 3 years of community custody.
It was a short but emotional day here in court at the Regional Justice Center. The victims of the former Valley High School football coach and his girlfriend, who were convicted of child sex crimes, finally got their time to share their truth in court. Inside this courtroom at the Regional Justice Center, the victims of convicted sex offenders, Antoine Washington and his girlfriend Jada Cole, sat quietly, still, and listened as Judge Monica Trujillo read out the sentencing for their child sex crimes.
Count 2 will run consecutive to count 1 for an aggregate term of 96 months to 300 months.
Both getting the agreed upon 8 to 25 years in the Nevada Department of Corrections, with each getting credit for their time served under a plea agreement with state prosecutors.
I can't allow them in 8 years to blink of an eye, go through jail time, and come back out like nothing has happened.
A family member of one of the victims, who we are not identifying, shared her daughter, who she entrusted Jada to care for, was just 2 years old at the time of the crime.
She didn't just allow this man near my child. She sent inappropriate pictures of my daughter to him at the age of 2, acting together, supporting each other, and creating an environment where children were preyed upon.
She says she still carries the fear and trauma they cause her child and family every single day.
The shame, the fear, the guilt, even though I've done nothing wrong, it sits on me heavy every day. I could not let my daughter out of my sight for months. I could not breathe, wondering if she was sick. I could not sleep without replaying every moment I trusted the wrong person.
Williams and Cole, who did not address or look at the victims, pled guilty to attempted use of a minor to produce child sex abuse material, along with lewdness with a child under 16 back in December. According to court documents, Washington had reportedly recorded several sexual acts with a student younger than the age of 16. The minor told police Washington would pick her up from her home and engage in sexual activity in his car or his girlfriend's house.
Your actions are repulsive. He is a treacherous, vile creature who deserves to never walk free.
Another victim said she's glad he won't get to hurt anyone else.
You two are predators that prey on children. The universe has a very long memory. You both now have to reap what you have sowed.
Now both will have to register as sex offenders and will not be allowed contact with the victims. For now, reporting from Las Vegas, Giovanni Carrillo.
Our top story tonight, a 6-year child sex crimes case came to a close in Grayson County last night. And today, KXI 12's Austin Hedgecock spoke with District Attorney Kermit Hill for his response.
In 2022, Robert Feist was arrested and charged with 7 counts of child sexual assault. After years of legal battles, a jury delivered his verdict Friday evening.
The jury found the defendant not guilty on all 7 counts.
Grayson County District Attorney John Kermit Hill says while indictments and warrants get a case to court, all persons are considered innocent until proven otherwise.
All that thought process of the officer and the judge and so forth leading up to trial is irrelevant. Those are just vehicles to get a case to trial.
Once at trial, prosecutors must convince a jury that the crimes did in fact happen beyond a reasonable doubt, the highest standard in American law.
There's an old saying, it's better to let 10 guilty people go free than to put one innocent one in jail.
And while Hill says the outcome of the case wasn't what his team was after,
this is what our system is.
He wants anyone who believes they were victims of a crime to feel comfortable bringing their concerns to his office.
They need to come forward and see that justice is done. When we believe the evidence is there and we believe the evidence is strong, we're going to take it to court and let the jury decide.
In Sherman, Austin Hedgecock, KXI 12.
Starts now.
Tonight, a Virginia Democratic official accused of distributing child sexual abuse material, pleading not guilty in federal court. You're watching 8 News at 11. Thanks for staying up with us. I'm Eric Phillips.
And I'm Heather Hope. 8 News reporter Sarah Molina was inside the courthouse. She has been following this case all day, and Sarah joins us now to tell us what happened. Sarah.
Well, earlier today, we saw 30-year-old Randon Sprinkle enter the courtroom here with leg restraints, where he stood in front of the judge, pleading not guilty to one count of distributing child sexual abuse material. Tensions filled a federal courtroom in Richmond on Monday as 30-year-old Randon Sprinkle pleaded not guilty. The arraignment comes after Sprinkle was arrested in December for allegedly distributing child sexual abuse material, or CSAM. He's been in custody since then. According to the Department of Justice, Sprinkle is accused of messaging an undercover FBI agent on an online dating app called Jacked, where he went by the name Randy. Authorities say Sprinkle sent a video depicting two adults sexually abusing a child. They say he then expressed an interest in traveling to Washington, D.C. to meet that app user and sexually abuse that person's 9-year-old son. On October 16, 2025, FBI agents searched his Richmond home, seizing 3 of his electronic devices. We're told they found a cell phone containing 42 CSAM files and a laptop with 2 additional files. U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan said, quote, "The allegations in this case are deeply disturbing and reflect a serious abuse of trust," end quote, as Sprinkle was elected to the Metro Richmond Young Democrats Executive Board last year. There was also one potential bump in the road as questions swirl around Halligan's controversial September appointment as attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia by the Trump administration. During court, the judge questioned her appointment status, which could affect the case as Halligan signed off on Sprinkle's indictment. But when 8 News asked Sprinkle's attorney, Javiante Johnson, about it, he said for now, it doesn't change anything on his end. Sprinkle's trial is set to happen in March.
In Hampton, a man was arrested on child pornography charges following a tip from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Officers began investigating after receiving reports of a man uploading suspected child abuse material. 23-year-old Terrence Sharma is now charged with 10 counts of reproduction of child pornography.
The Janesville man who sexually assaulted an 8-year-old girl in 2007 was sentenced to 13 years in prison today. Kyle Dean was convicted in June of 2 counts of first-degree sexual assault of a child. The DA's office said a woman reported in 2023 that the assaults happened in 2007 when she was 8 years old and Dean was 17 or 18. The office said Dean was her babysitter at the time. Dean must also register as a sex offender for life.
The award-winning author is facing serious charges after detectives executed a search warrant at his Fremantle home. Craig Silvey was arrested and his electronic devices seized. The 43-year-old charged with the distribution and possession of child exploitation material. Mr. Silvey appeared in the Fremantle Magistrates Court where the police prosecutor opposed bail. The court was told Mr. Silvey had engaged in an online conversation during which he expressed a sexual interest in children, and there was evidence he provided images. The prosecutor saying the author had declined to allow investigators access to his mobile, desktop and other devices, and a court order was being sought to ensure compliance. After spending a night in custody, Mr. Silvey looked down for much of the hearing as he sat in the dock. The magistrate granted bail with strict conditions, including that he not leave WA and that he not engage in any work with children. The father of 3 also told not to use social media or the internet, except for legal advice and medical and banking purposes. The magistrate telling Mr. Silvey he was facing serious charges, with imprisonment a likely outcome if convicted. His lawyer leaving court saying little.
Client's all right. He's good.
Mr. Silvey is due in court again next month. His books Jasper Jones and Runt have been widely read in Australian schools as curriculum set texts.
The Hancock County Prosecuting Attorney Stephen E. Draglish announced that the January 2026 term of the Hancock County Grand Jury returned indictments for 12 individuals. Harold Russell Bittinger of Weirton, West Virginia, otherwise known for the inspiration behind Pinky and the Brain, was among those indicted. He faces 3 charges: entry of a building other than a dwelling, obstructing an officer, and failure to register as a sex offender. 4 counts, by the way. Under state law, failing to register as a sex offender is a serious offense, especially as a repeat violation. The entry charge indicates an alleged unlawful entry into a non-residential building, and the obstruction charge involves interference with law enforcement trying to arrest them. I tried to look him up on the registry, but this individual was too evasive to even be found on it. Well, we got you now, Chomo.
Staying in Jennings, a man was arrested following an investigation into the production and possession of child pornography involving a 5-year-old. 29-year-old Joseph Reagan Jr. was arrested and charged with child sexual abuse material. The investigation began after a child's family member reported discovering an explicit image of the child within a digital photo album. The image, which had been allegedly uploaded by Reagan. This investigation remains ongoing and additional charges may be filed.
Val, the suspect was a janitor here at Eisenhower Elementary School, and according to the district, he has not worked here since October. But now the school board will consider terminating him at a school board meeting tonight. Jeremy Ledesma is charged with 3 counts of child pornography. These charges date back to the beginning of 2025. In a letter to parents over the weekend, Joliet Public Schools Superintendent Teresa Rouse says the district wasn't made aware of the investigation until this past October. And even then, district leaders were unaware of what Ledesma was being investigated for. The 23-year-old was still placed on leave. According to the letter, none of the alleged crimes happened on school property. However, Ledesma allegedly videotaped students on the playground. Those videos are not part of the investigation. Rouse goes on to say, quote, "I want to assure you that Mr. Ledesma passed all required state and FBI criminal background checks prior to being hired by District 86. These checks also notify us if any new criminal convictions occur. No such notifications were provided to the district." Now, back here live this morning, we're also learning that Ledesma worked at Edna Keith Elementary School. He is due back in Will County Court tomorrow for a pre-trial detention hearing.
A Liberty man charged in a juvenile delinquency case has been sentenced to probation. Trumbull County reporter Nadine Grimley has the details on the case's outcome.
Appearing before Judge Ronald Rice, 21-year-old Isaiah Short says he knows he made a mistake.
And I'm honest and I'll man up to it, and I would like to give a second chance in society.
Last month, Short pleaded guilty to 2 counts of misdemeanor contributing to the delinquency of a juvenile. The case involved Short engaging in sexual conduct with a 16-year-old girl in November 2024.
He obviously made a mistake. He takes responsibility for that mistake. Mr. Short, I believe, also suffers from an intellectual disability. However, he is able to take responsibility and does.
Both the victim and the defendant have significant intellectual disabilities and impairments, so there were experts involved.
Short was initially charged with rape and gross sexual imposition. Prosecutors say those charges were dropped when a doctor determined the victim had the ability to consent.
All of the more serious sex charges were based on her inability to consent. So in order to come to a fair resolution, I think, the charges had to be reduced, and I think that was what was appropriate given the specific facts of this case.
Short was sentenced to 3 years probation. In Warren, Nadine Grimley, WKBN 27 First News.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lindsay Watson. Thanks for watching the WKBN 27 First News YouTube channel. If you want more video news, subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the WKBN 27 First News app for breaking news alerts.
Bristol police says that a man accused of trying to distribute child porn is facing multiple charges tonight. Officers arrested Alex Neil Robinson after getting a tip about someone having explicit material involving children. Detectives identified Robinson as a person of interest, and they say that they found evidence that he had access to the material. He is charged with 10 counts of possession with intent to distribute child pornography. We're told that there could be more charges.
An Albuquerque man is in custody for allegedly using artificial intelligence to commit crimes against children. Police say they arrested Richard Gallagher after a tip. They reportedly found a number of files on his phone and computer that showed images of nude children in sexual situations. Police say he admitted to taking photos of kids off the internet and using AI to remove their clothes. Investigators are working to see if Gallagher knew any of his alleged victims. If he's convicted on these charges, he could spend 50 years in prison.
An uncle accused of abducting his niece last year is being charged again in Portage County. Jordan Coyle is charged with first-degree child sexual assault as a persistent repeater. It all stems back to when Chelsea Lehman and her siblings began living in a home in Almond owned by Coyle. This violated his conditions of residing with a minor over a previous child sex assault case from 2008. The Wisconsin Department of Corrections issued an arrest warrant for Coyle, and then in September, he disappeared, and his 6-year-old niece went missing 2 days later, setting off a statewide Amber Alert. Luckily, both were found hiding in the woods, and Coyle was given a $1 million bond. He is also charged with a felony charge of interfering with child custody. He will be back in court February 16th.
On the 10 o'clock in western North Carolina, a man will spend almost 15 years behind bars for multiple crimes. Kobe Wynn pleaded guilty to kidnapping and child sex crimes. He's sentenced to at least 14 years behind bars, and he will have to register as a sex offender for 30 years and can't contact the victim for the rest of his life.
We'll head over to Hillsboro, Oregon. On December 5th of last year, a Washington County jury found Leo Gambonia, a 49-year-old, guilty of 5 sex abuse-related charges, including sodomy in the first degree, sexual penetration in the first degree, and sexual abuse in the first degree. On December 18th of last year, Judge Janelle Whipper sentenced the defendant to 375 months in prison. Senior Deputy District Attorney Chris Lumen prosecuted this case. The defendant was first convicted on these charges back in 2019. And the Oregon State of Appeals ordered a retrial of the case, which took several years. Forest Grove Police first began investigating Mr. Gambonia in September of 2017, after the victim made disclosures of abuse to a family member. And that family member then contacted police, who began the investigation. The defendant was known to the family and used that connection to gain access to the victim. Police learned the abuse began 2 years prior to that disclosure with inappropriate touching and kissing, and quickly escalated from there. Based on victim accounts and the expertise from staff at Randall Children's Hospital and CARES Northwest, police gathered enough evidence to move forward with charges against this chomo, Mr. Gambonia.
Good evening, I'm Dave Sess. Lindsay Watson's on assignment. A man has accepted responsibility for his conduct in a child sexual assault case. It means he will spend a long time in prison. Trumbull County reporter Nadine Grimley has the details.
Appearing before Judge Cynthia Westcott Rice, Justin Mayfield accepted responsibility.
Mr. Mayfield, how do you plead?
Guilty.
Mayfield entered the plea to an amended indictment, charging him with 7 counts of rape involving 2 child victims and 1 count of disseminating matter harmful to juveniles.
I believe one big impetus of this plea would be not having to put these children through any more psychological harm. My client indicated that to me.
He was sentenced to 40 years to life in prison.
He was clearly the primary driver of this. He was clearly the one who the ideas originated with.
The change in plea comes just days after Justin's wife, Shauna, pleaded guilty to rape and other charges. Under her plea deal, Shauna agreed to testify against Justin in exchange for a jointly recommended sentence of 30 years to life in prison.
They're both going to serve a life sentence. We were able to do that without having to put children on the stand, which is always our #1 goal, to achieve justice without having to put kids through any more trauma.
As for Justin's wife, Shauna, she's scheduled to be back in court for her sentencing on January 21st. In Warren, Nadine Grimley, WKBN 27 First News.
Hi everyone, I'm Lindsay Watson. Thanks for watching the WKBN 27 First News YouTube channel. If you want more video news, subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the WKBN 27 First News app for breaking news alerts.
State prosecutors say exposed and touched himself in front of a 4-year-old girl in a hot tub at Alaska Club South location was sentenced today. 43-year-old Natchez Dunlap was arrested in April 2024, 3 weeks after Anchorage police put a warrant out for his arrest. He has since pled guilty to indecent exposure in the first degree. The court found a disturbing pattern where Dunlap repeatedly put himself into situations with unsupervised children, also made concerning comments about female officers. Dunlap sentenced to 6 years, 3 suspended, and 5 years of probation.
Costa County man will spend decades behind bars for sexual crimes against children. 26-year-old Lucas Monroe was arrested last year in Grand Rapids following an investigation into his online activities. Those activities included creating and uploading child pornography. Records show Monroe pleaded no contest to criminal sexual conduct and several other counts. He will spend a minimum of 66 years behind bars.
County man has been found guilty of continuous sexual abuse of a child. Damian Corona of Cameron was arrested on a warrant in 2022 for the first-degree felony. Corona has been sentenced to 60 years in prison after the jury deliberated for less than an hour. He is not eligible for parole and must serve his entire.
A Monroe County man will spend the rest of his life behind bars. Kevin Waldron was found guilty of second-degree sexual abuse of a child in October. Court documents say the abuse happened between February of 2022 and October of 2023. The victim was 12 years old when the abuse began. Before the judge handed down the life sentence, the victim's mother condemned his actions.
Kevin is a monster, a pedophile, a child molester, a liar, and a coward. Kevin is a threat to all young girls and children. He likes to prey on single moms with daughters.
I did not commit a crime. All I ever did was love her family and her kids. I loved them like they were my own.
Waldron had previously been convicted of sex abuse in 2010 and was already on the sex offender registry for the rest of his life. A no contact order with the victim was also issued today.
Over to Raleigh, North Carolina. A federal judge sentenced a Lewisburg man to over 17 years in federal prison for distributing child sexual abuse material. William Justin Lewis, a 55-year-old, pled guilty on August 19th of last year. Innocent children require all of us to protect them. If deviant criminal predators harm children in our district, they can expect the FBI and other partners in law enforcement to find them, prosecute them, and lock them away from our children for decades, said U.S. Attorney Ellis Boy. On behalf of families all across North Carolina, we thank Judge Deaver for this appropriately lengthy sentence to punish this coward's truly abhorrent behavior. See ya, Chomo.
Taking a look now at your rundown, a man from Oklahoma will be sent back to that state after authorities arrested him here in Maine.
The U.S. Marshals Service says Jamie Octay was found at a home in Waldoboro Friday. Oklahoma law enforcement were looking for him on charges of possession of child sexual abuse materials and others. Investigators determined he had fled Oklahoma and was hiding here in Maine. He'll be extradited back to Oklahoma pending legal proceedings.
Breaking here at 4, prosecutors file criminal charges against a Wisconsin uncle 4 months after he is found with his niece, who was the subject of a statewide Amber Alert. Police found the 6-year-old Portage County girl with her uncle, Jordan Coyle, in the woods last September. Coyle is a registered sex offender. The Portage County District Attorney's Office says new evidence indicates he had recent sexual contact with the child. Coyle is charged with first-degree sexual assault of a child. Prosecutors charged the girl's mother, Chesley Lehman, last year. They say she admitted to helping Coyle evade police.
Kimberly Cole, the mother of 12-year-old R.J. Davis, who was missing for more than a week before being found this past weekend, faces 11 felony charges, including crimes against nature. But what exactly are crimes against nature? Oklahoma State Statute 21886 says every person who is guilty of the detestable and abominable crime against nature committed with mankind or with a beast is punishable by imprisonment in the custody of the Department of Corrections, not exceeding 10 years. The term crime against nature also falls under forcible sodomy in the Oklahoma State statute. It also says any sexual penetration, however slight, is sufficient to complete the crime against nature. Cole has also been charged with multiple counts of child abuse, child neglect, and child sexual abuse, and faces 1 count of conspiracy. George Cole, RJ's stepfather, has been charged with multiple counts of child abuse, 1 count of child sexual abuse, and 1 count of child neglect. For more information on this story, you can visit our website, koco.com.
I think you guys were towards the back. State versus Marco, Penaluzza.
Case C-395-696. He is present. He's in custody. And sir, you understand that we're on for sentencing today?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know of any legal cause or reason why judgment should not be pronounced against you at this time?
No, Your Honor.
By virtue of your plea entered in this matter, I hereby adjudicate you guilty of attempt lewdness with the child under the age of 14. Mr. Vellani?
Your Honor, pursuant to negotiations in this case, the state has no recommendation for the court's identification. The psychosexual evaluation did come back moderate high, and I have 112 days credit for time served.
Okay, do you want to say anything, sir?
Yes. I just want to say that I'm deeply sorry for what I've done. I'm applying for your mercy. I want a second chance. It won't happen again.
It happened multiple times, did it not? Yeah. Where were you teaching?
Charter school.
Pardon?
Charter school.
Was it, what grade was it? First through 12?
No, I taught middle school.
Pardon?
I taught middle school, 6th and 7th grade.
Okay. Where did 8th graders go?
Same school.
Oh, okay, so 6th, 7th, and 8th?
Yeah, it's just math.
You taught math? So you're very smart, obviously. Mr. Kumho?
If we did file a sentencing memorandum in this case, so we did get it.
Yeah, I think it's a, I just want
We
to be
just
sure.
a couple letters of support. The family
Yes.
members who drafted the letters, he has 2 aunts, his father, and I can report that his sisters have been very communicative with the office and very supportive of him. As you can expect, his wife and he are separated and no longer together after this incident. And just briefly, we're going to ask, obviously, for probation for this man. It was really a broken moment, not a broken man in this situation. So he does have family support. He did have 2 psychosexual evaluations. One was John Packle from the state that came back with the low, moderate, I think it was? Moderate high. And then we had Chambers that came back with the low, moderate also. I don't think it was moderate high, but a little bit less than that. He's had 2 that both are kind of around the same area. This was really a situational collapse in this man's life, which arose not so much from sexual deviance, but rather isolation, shame, grief, and terrible impulsivity on the internet. I think, though, based on the recommendations we have from both doctors, that he can be monitored. If the court's inclined to give him probation with strict adherence to counseling, I think something like intensive psychosexual behavior counseling, therapy for him personally over the loss of his marriage and things that have gone on in his past, and structured to maybe even come back in here for status checks every 6 months or a year to make sure he's doing everything he should be doing. I don't think you'll see this person ever again, unless you order him to come back to court. Like you said, he is a smart man. He did a very, very stupid thing based on impulse and grief, and with that, I'll submit to you.
What about the 7-year-old? I mean, I was kind of confused by the evaluation.
My daughter.
She's your daughter? Are there any, I mean, what would be your grant of probation? Do you have any visitation rights? I'm just trying to figure that out.
I don't think so. And if I do, it's like heavily monitored. Supervised.
So the mother would not want, is that the impression you get, or is that what you've been told?
That's the impression I'm getting.
Okay.
Mother.
Are you divorced yet?
Not yet.
Is it pending?
I believe
I'm
she's
not
filed.
sure.
Okay, but you haven't been served with any papers? What would be your living arrangements?
Neither my dad.
His father.
Are there any minor children in his household?
No.
I'm assuming you don't have your teacher's license anymore? I mean, I don't know what happens. I know that you're licensed by the state, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Has that state board moved to suspend your license?
I'm not sure. But I'm going to assume yes.
Well, how would you not know that? I mean, that would be the most important thing. I mean, I have a license. I would want to know that because that's your ability to make a living. You don't even know what the status of your teaching license is?
I'm thinking it's expired. because it was expiring when I was coming.
You mean a teacher's license expires?
Mhm.
What do you have to do to make sure it doesn't expire?
Classes.
Oh, like continuing education?
Mm-hmm.
And you just let it lapse?
Yes.
What would happen if you wanted to re-up it?
I'm not sure that I could with the conditions.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering. You know what the rules are?
Mm-hmm.
And you believe that this would prevent you from
Yes, ma'am.
obtaining a license. So what would you plan on doing for a living?
That I'm not sure, but I will get a job if I'm granted probation.
What do you mean you're not sure? Like, how much time have you been in custody?
Around 100 days.
Have you been thinking about it?
Yes.
Well, what are your initial thoughts?
My initial thoughts are like work for any company that would accept me with probation.
I mean, your dad can't support you.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't. I mean, you have to understand you have to support yourself.
Yes.
And then I'm assuming you're going to have to support your child, too.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have any plans? I mean, that's concerning.
I would just apply and see where I get. Whatever job I get first, that's what I would do.
Okay, well that. All right, in accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada, this court does now sentence you as follows. The administrative assessment, DNA fee, and collection fee will be imposed if you're required to submit to genetic marker testing. This time, the court's going to sentence you to 6 to 15 years, suspend it, place you on probation, not to exceed 5 years. I can do 5 years on this, correct?
You can, Your Honor, you could do up to a fixed 5 years.
Okay, so for a fixed term of 5 years, with the following special conditions, you'll be subject to all the statutory conditions as outlined in NRS 176A.410. Does the state want to be heard on, I think it's subsection Q, which is like the internet?
Your Honor, so that is at PMP's discretion, so I'd ask that be imposed, because there is a nexus between the use of the internet and these crimes. So I would ask that it be imposed, and I know it's argued a lot that, hey, you can't stop anybody from using the internet. All it does is give PMP the discretion to completely stop his use of the internet. If they see a problem, gives them the discretion to give him full use of the internet, and they're in the best position in the state's opinion.
And or to monitor it.
Correct.
Right, okay, so the court's gonna impose it at the discretion of parole and probation. Like, I would not be opposed to it if there was some type of monitoring program on it. So you understand that. Because of the underlying facts, you're gonna be restricted from using the internet. It's gonna be up to your probation officer. I'll put in the minutes, I don't oppose it. You know, limited use as long as there is monitoring of any type of internet usage. You understand that's pretty significant. If you violate that, you would probably be going to prison. So I just want to make sure that you do understand how significant it is.
Yes.
Do you have any questions about that?
No.
Okay, the court's also going to order that you register as a sex offender within 48 hours, being released from custody. You'll also be subject to lifetime supervision. The court's going to order that you have no unsupervised visits with any minor children, including your own. You can only have visitation with your child except by supervision. Okay, do you understand that?
Yes.
And it would have to be an adult person that has all the knowledge of this underlying case.
Yes.
Like the parents, I mean, I'm assuming the mother knows everything.
Mm-hmm.
It would have to be someone like that that had the knowledge so that they could supervise appropriately. Okay, the court's also going to order that you enroll in complete sex offender specific counseling. I'm going to order the one that's recommended in the first recommendation in Dr. Colt's report. I'm going to order that you don't possess, consume, control any alcohol during the term of your probation, that you comply with all general conditions of parole and probation. Are there any other conditions the state would want to have the court order?
No, Your Honor, I think 176A.410 covers it.
And obviously you can have no contact with the victims in this matter. Do you have any questions about any of that?
No.
And you're going to need to report to your probation officer within 24 hours of being released from custody. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Welcome to the hit list. You can't escape your face on the news. Don't mess with fate. Locked up in prison, wood chipper running hot. Police on a mission, hope you don't get caught. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices are made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh yeah, no, no, yeah, yeah, yeah. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay.
Say, excuse me, Judge. How many times do I need to show these videos until people become aware?
Multiple times.
One for a rainbow, one for Amanda.
Who you playing with, sweetie?
Amanda.
Oh, who are you?
I'm Amanda. I'm 6, and I love unicorns.
Sexual predators are seeking kids online.
We don't know Amanda.
Learn how to report abuse at end-violence.org/protect.
Now get in there!